webinar is going to run for about an hour. And the way we've divided it is that we are going to speak to you through our slides and address various concerns and questions that you have put in the Google form, as also other things that we would like to say for about 35 minutes. And then we'll keep 25 minutes for Q&A. Your questions have to be typed into the Q&A chat box, the Q&A box, and we will read those out and we'll try and answer them as best as possible. Without further ado, let me invite my panelists. I am Atreyee Majumder. I'm an associate professor of social sciences at the NLS and co-chair of the BA Honours Program. With me is Saurabh Bhattacharjee, professor, and Professor T. Somashekar. Professor Somashekar is having some mic issues this evening. We hope that will sort out very soon. Professor Saurabh Bhattacharjee is the Dean of Academics and Associate Professor of Law, and Professor Somashekar is a Professor of Economics. Without further ado, let me hand over to Professor Saurabh Bhattacharjee.
Thank you, Atreyee. A very good evening to every one of you, and welcome to this webinar on the BA Honours Program at the National Law School of India University. National Law School emerged as one of the most remarkable success stories in Indian legal education. As many of you know, it was established through a very unique collaboration between the bar, the bench, and the academia, with the Chief Justice of India as our Chancellor. In 3.5 decades of its existence, NLS transformed legal education by pioneering the 5-year integrated BA LLB Honours Program, along with several other programs, including the LLM, the MPP, the 3-year LLB Honours Program, and of course our PhD program. But BA LLB Honours, integrated social sciences and law degree, has been the flagship program of our law school. And this really transformed the landscape of legal education and legal profession in the country. The BA Honours Program is a natural evolution of our flagship program. In 36 years that we taught the BA LLB Honours Program, our faculty and alum strengthened the rigor of the social sciences component of the program. We have had courses on sociology, economics, history, and politics being taught for more than 3.5 decades. And as NLS evolves into a multidisciplinary university in pursuit of national and state education policies that call for universities to become multidisciplinary institutions, the BA program builds on our institutional strength and the expertise that we have accumulated over 36 years. Even as the BA program is a standalone program, it also stands out because it's intertwined with the BA LLB Honours Program, both in terms of its curriculum as well as student interaction. Students from both the streams will be doing common core courses that we'll talk about a little later in the webinar, and many of the open elective courses together. And we hope this can foster a vibrant interdisciplinary learning environment, both for students of the BA LLB Honours Program and the NLS BA Honours Program. And when we started the BA Honours Program last year, we began with a very clear commitment that the strength of our rigorous curriculum, the Socratic classroom teaching, an experiential learning model, and professional orientation that has been the hallmark of all the NLS programs must also be built into the BA Honours Program. Accordingly, our curriculum has been transformed or designed in a manner that not only would you be made familiar with reading texts and numbers, but also develop the analytical skills to adapt to a fast changing world in an age where technology has dramatically transformed both the educational and the professional milieu. What we want to inculcate in all our students is the first principles that they have the analytical and quantitative skills to be able to absorb newer knowledge, be able to navigate newer and emerging fields. And that's something that would be reflected in the curriculum that uh, Professor Atreyee and Professor Somashekar would later be speaking about. But the other very critical element of teaching at NLS has been experiential learning. Right from its very inception, all our law degrees emphasized on internships, emphasized on clinical courses through which students can have interaction with real world engagement and have a place to apply their theoretical learning in a practical context and also gain professional skills. And the same philosophy we want to bring into the NLS BA honors program, where our students are required to do internships as a mandatory element. There are a range of practice courses that have come in. And that also builds into the other traditional strength that NLS has had. We've had a very strong professional orientation that all our students, we want to train them in the fundamental professional skills that enables them to find a suitable career aligned with their interest. And alums from our BA LLB honors program have excelled not just in the field of law, but in the field of civil services, in social sciences, in journalism, in policy think tanks. And at the same time, this has been developed on account of a very robust career support programs that we have in place. I've already spoken about internships, but apart from internships, there are other forms of career guidance that our university provides for. And we hope to bring that into the NLS BA Honors program. The first batch was admitted in 2025, and we already are seeing the ways in which the strength of our BA LLB honors program has permeated into the NLS BA honors program. And we want to build on that for the next and all the subsequent batches. After this, I'd like to invite Professor Atreyee to speak about some of the basic elements of our curriculum that I'm sure many of you will have questions about.
Am I audible? Okay. So the BA Honors Program has been designed with some care, thinking about the changing worlds of work. So the BA programs across the country, we notice, do not always prepare the student in a way that they're able to take on diverse careers using mixed set of skills immediately as they graduate. So this program has been designed to balance certain kinds of supposedly contradictory skills, supposedly diverse skills, and we're combining various elements of reading and writing and numerical skills and career exposed courses, etc., all of which I will talk about in just a moment. But the point I want to make at the very beginning is that we've designed it very carefully to expose our students very deeply and acutely to the changing world of work. The components of this BA program are such. There are 6 foundational courses. Remember that these foundational courses are taught across classrooms which consist of BA and BA LLB students together, because BA LLB students also take these same common core courses. It's a series of 6. I'll talk about what those 6 are in just a moment. Our first major starts from the first year and the first trimester itself. So you're allowed to take either a major minor combination, or you have the opportunity to elect a double major combination. But your first major starts from the first year, first term itself. On the end of the first year, you elect either a minor, a second track, which is a minor, or a double major, which you start from the second year. You also have, and I'll talk about majors and minors in some detail in just a little bit. You also have a component of practice courses. These are the career-facing courses. They will stretch across a wide a gamut of things from journalism to PR to data science to business studies to a range of things from filmmaking, script writing, etc. So a student is not wanting in options when they are in a position to start thinking about their careers going forward. They'll do a series of three practice courses, in the course of which they will find ideas as to what kind of internships they should pursue, and thereby by the end of the third year they should have a clear idea as to what pathway they want to choose. We're also starting a series of Indian language courses. We're starting next year with Hindi and Kannada. The language courses start at the end of the first year, and basic and intermediate level courses in language. There are two courses, basic and intermediate, are compulsory, they're mandatory for students to take, and an advanced language option is also available if they so desire, especially students who want to take language training for the advanced research kind of tracks or multimedia, regional language multimedia careers, will want to take the advanced language option as an elective later on. The range of open electives are also available as part of the design of this course. What are open electives? Open electives are electives which are not pegged to your major or your minor. So you may be an economics major and you can sit for an open elective which is on the history of riverine ecosystems. Nothing is stopping you from taking that class. But the only thing that is stopping you from taking that class is your desire to take that class. And also the instructor may sometimes have some eligibility criteria that you should have done some other prior course in order to enter this course. Unless there is an eligibility criteria that you have to clear, you are welcome to take any and all open electives, which need not always be pegged to your major or minor. There is a dissertation track, which is by invitation and selection only. And some students who elect to take the dissertation track will go on to the fourth year. Others will graduate by the end of 3 years and get a degree which is called Bachelor of Arts Honors, whereas the fourth year track students will get a degree that is called Bachelor of Arts Honors with research. And finally, there is an mandatory, like Saurabh said, mandatory internship component built into the course. You have to take at least 3 internships by the end of the second year so that you have a clear idea as to what kind of pathway of work you want to pursue. And finally, another one in the third year. So that's a total of 4 internships in 3 years. And you also do a research internship if should you go up to the fourth year. Um, the program is designed to pay attention to depth and breadth simultaneously, to take social sciences and humanities seriously in a combination as also separately, and it takes into account the need in today's world to have everyone, all students, regardless of what their major or minor might be, to be somewhat literate, gain some literacy in numerical and data oriented domains of knowledge, deep reading and writing skills. We have not forgotten that with the invasion of AI, human beings are increasingly, steadily losing their ability and capacity for deep reading and writing, and we will attend to that lacune in our program. So we balance it in 2 ways, that you have to learn at least some of deep reading and writing skills alongside numerical and data skills, which prepare you in an extraordinary way to take on the changing worlds of work. And it's designed in a way to cater to contemporary and dynamic career pathways. And we built it so that you build in calibration, you build your knowledge acquisition in calibration of curiosity. That's how you begin. You develop into wonder. And by the time you are doing your advanced courses and your practice courses, etc., you begin to appreciate something quite big in terms of acquisition of knowledge. And finally, at the research stage or the very advanced stage, you turn to critique. You turn to the question of, well, how can I make this better? How can I solve a problem? How can I address the knowledge systems and contribute something new and novel and original to it? And those kinds of things. The four majors we're offering are history, sociology and anthropology, economics, politics, and a number of interdiscipline. All these four disciplines will also be available to be taken as a minor track, as also as a double major. So you can do history and then you can take a minor in politics. You can do politics or and later take a minor in sociology and anthropology. Economics will have some eligibility criteria because of certain mathematical methods that you have to know in order to take economics as a double major or minor. And if you clear those eligibility criteria, you're welcome to take economics as a minor as well. Some interdisciplinary minors are also available, which we will talk about on our social media in detail quite soon. Environmental science studies, policy studies, and data science. A major carries 40 credits, which means there are there are 10 courses, 6 core courses, and 4 electives. That's 10 courses. Each course carries in our system 4 credits. That comes to 40 credits. A major in the double major track or in first major track is always 40 credits, which means 10 courses. A minor, on the other hand, is 4 plus 2, 4 core courses and 2 electives. Combined make a minor, which comes to 4 credits a course, 24 credits. So you graduate ultimately with 148 credits. It's 144 credits of 16 terms 144 credits that you do over 16 courses. And finally, the 4 credits extra that you get from your internships. Practice courses that we are planning to offer from the second year onwards. Second year is when your practice course slots and your open elective slots open up. Range between AI and machine learning, consulting, user experience research, data science, digital journalism, creative writing, business and entrepreneurship, and policy advocacy and analysis. These will be taught by industry and service sector experts. Industry and service sector experts who will come in and in a direct or in a hybrid way design these courses and deliver them so as to make you absolutely ready for the job market or the career pathway that you want to explore. Did I talk about the Common Core? Yeah, no, I missed the slide. The Common Core, I missed the slide, I'm sorry, there are 6 in that foundational series: narrative, numbers, society, power, history, economy. Narrative and numbers are the building blocks, the 2 building blocks. As I said, deep reading and writing and numerical skills. All undergraduate students across BA, LLB, and BA have to take these 6 courses. These 6 courses are absolutely mandatory. And they have to do narrative and they have to do numbers so that they have basic skills, irrespective of what their major or minor choices are. They have basic skills in reading and writing, deep reading and writing, and use of numbers in an everyday fashion to be able to make sense of a balance sheet, to be able to make sense of a UN report, which is number crunching across, say, 5 African countries, or to make sense of a corporate data set, or the census and so on and so forth. Society, power, history, and economy are level 0 introductions to the 4 disciplines. So the level 0 introduction kind of exposes you to the disciplines, and then you take your majors and your minors. These are completed over the first 3 terms of the first year. Now I will invite Saurabh to talk about the admission process. Saurabh, please.
Thank you, Atreyee. And I can see that there are some queries about the exam itself in the chat box. When you look at the exam process itself, The dates have already been notified. It's April 26, 2026, when we'll have the exam for the BA program, along with exams for some of the other programs on the same day. The exam will be open for all students who have completed class 12th or the equivalent exam, or will be completing the class 12th or the equivalent exam in 2026. Here I must point out that there are many students enrolled in Cambridge and other international programs where they may complete their program and get their marks only around July or somewhat later. We provide time to the candidates who are finishing class 12th in 2026 to submit their mark sheet well after the admission, and their admission remains provisional until they've submitted their class 12th mark sheet or the mark sheet or the certificates or the transcripts for the equivalent program that they're doing. The intake for the 2026 batch, and that's the maximum intake, is 60 students. So for all 4 minors taken together, it will be 60. So we are aiming at 15 students each for each of the 4 majors, and application forms would be available very soon from 15th of November. On the NLS website, the notification will be up, and the link to the admission application page would be up by 15th November. I must also point out, in response to a query from a student, at the time of application, you will have to declare your preferred major, because the selection will happen based on the merit list for each major. There's no separate criteria for any of the major. Your performance in the exam itself will be counted, but you'll have to declare your preferred majors at the time of applying for the NLSAT examination itself. Can we move to the next slide, please? Right. As far as the exam paper itself goes, it will be consisting of 2 parts. The first part will be a multiple choice question set, where you will have questions on reading and comprehension, reasoning, and quantitative analysis, much like any other MCQ paper testing your basic comprehension, logical reasoning, and quantitative skills. But based on part A, selection will happen for students for part B, but part B every candidate writes, and part B will consist of short questions. These would be questions on which you'll have to construct an argument on specific prompts or specific keywords or passages that will be given to you, and you'll have to respond to them. And we want to test your ability to think deeply, analyze a specific prompt or a passage, and construct your arguments. So it's different from part A, where you may have reading and comprehension, but that's just choosing the appropriate option. Here, on the other hand, your ability to construct an argument and express that argument in a lucid manner will also be tested. And both parts taken together, the exam will be for 150 minutes. Next slide, please. Now, as far as the scoring goes, the entire exam is for 150 marks. Part A consists of 75 marks. Part B also consists of 75 marks. But only students who figure in the top part of merit list based on part A, their answer script for part B will be evaluated. So the principle we use is, for every available seat in a category, 5 answer scripts are evaluated. So because we have a maximum of 60 seats, 300 seats or 300 answer scripts will be evaluated for part B. And then based on scores of part A and part B together, we will be selecting the candidates. But even here, I must point out that to offer admission, we must see that the candidate figures in the 75th percentile, or at least in the 75th percentile of all candidates based on their cumulative score. And for candidates from the reserved categories, they must at least figure in the top 40th percentile before they can be offered admission. So with that respect, we need to meet the percentile requirement. You must, of course, have more than 0 marks in part A, but for part B to be evaluated, you must clearly figure in the top 300 or with the respective categories in the 1:5 ratio. And the final selection will be based on cumulative scores of Part A and Part B, depending upon whether you meet the percentile requirement. Can we move to the next slide? Okay, so we are done with the exam process. I'm sure there would be specific queries. We'll take them up during the Q&A later. On financial aid, maybe I'll hand over the baton, so to speak, to Professor Somashekar if he's in a position to
Thank you.
speak.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Okay, great.
We can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. So most people, or rather some of you may have concerns regarding what kind of financial aid we have. We have a very comprehensive financial aid system. And the idea is to ensure that any student, no student should ever drop out simply because, they cannot afford this particular course. So if you look at our website, we have posted a link over there, or you could just go to our website and look for financial aid that we give under various programs. You'll find that there are various mechanisms under which we provide for either a full or a partial tuition waiver. And sometimes you also cover the residential expenses, or there are other mechanisms where we have loans where there is interest payment, and there's also some kind of stipend as well provided to cover your living. So we have a very rigorous approach towards financial aid. Can we go to the next slide, please? Next slide. Thank you. And also, where do you go after your course? I mean, what's the kind of career future that you're looking at when you complete your BA program over here? Of course, it does depend upon the major and the minor that you choose and you complete. Firstly, you must understand that you have a mandatory internship, and that's also very critical for you to exercise your skill sets and move in the career path that you wish to engage in. So we have an immersive to begin with. They have an immersive internship which is not really subject specific, but which gives you an idea as to what a professional setup is and the way in which you engage in a professional organization. And the second one is a professional track where you go for a very specific internship in the area in which you're majoring and where you're interested in. And the third one is your placement internship. Right? And then, of course, when you get on to the fourth year, if you have chosen the fourth year and if you qualify for that, you have a research internship. So you look at the various disciplines that you have: politics, economics, sociology, and anthropology and history. There are numerous areas in which you could move into in terms of career, from think tanks to human rights advocacy to banking, finance, public policy, consulting, public health, social work, market research, archaeology, archive management, heritage management. So there are numerous areas over here. And NLS has, decades of experience in terms of where the students go, and a well-established institutional framework for connecting with people and helping our students in a comprehensive manner as they move about choosing their careers. And also, let's not forget that there is an institutional preference for students who complete the NLS BA honors program, in the sense that you get a preference. Of course, there are conditions to that. You get a preference for admission to the 3-year LLB honors and the Masters in Public Policy program at NLSIU. So the eligibility criteria are also put up there on the website, right? But there's a preference for you. That's important. Yes. Next slide, please. Right, and let's have a look at the academic and student life. What we offer at NLSIU is not just an academic program, but something which Yep, sorry about that. We don't, it's not just about an academic program that we offer, but a very comprehensive overall environment where you can develop both in terms of your co-curricular, extracurricular activities as well. So in terms of academics, we have a lot of top journals there in which you can participate as editors or in different ways. And we have NLSIR, which is a flagship journal, and then you have some of these are faculty-led journals, and some of them also student-led journals, which shows the extent to which students engage with research and take it very seriously. Then there are other types of student activities. Um, where you have, of course, you have a student council and a student bar association, which oversees all these activities. You have moods, legal aid, clinics, you have cultural events and publications and all of that. And there's a legal services clinic, which is well recognized and has actually won many international and national laurels. What this legal service clinic does is it provides free legal aid, and there are students engaged in this legal services clinic. And this is an opportunity to do community service and community work. Then there's the cultural committee, there's the sports committee, film committee, and there's more. Actually, there's just a few that we are mentioning, which sort of tells you, the variety of different types of activities that you can get in and have a very fulfilling time when you're here at NLS. Thank you. Next slide, please.
So I'll take over from here, Professor, if that's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so thank you both, Saurabh and Somashekar. The campus visit day, the first one, there's going to be two across the length of this year. The first campus visit day, which is a BA only campus visit day, has been announced on the 23rd of November. It's a Sunday. Please do come and visit our campus between 10 and 1. There will be demo classes. Saurabh and I will talk to you. We are happy to talk to parents and prospective students, etc. And finally, our web page is going to go live very soon with the link to the form, which is going to go live on November 15th. But this is the QR code for the BA honors website, and we have details, far greater a level of detail with which we have described the courses, the flow of courses and internships across the 3 years, the dissertation track, the practice courses, and finally the language program are all described there. Do take a look and let us know if you have any questions